As a moving business owner, your day starts with a plan. But what happens when your movers don't show and that plan falls apart? Last minute no-shows. You're left to bootstrap, jumping in as an extra body. Yet sometimes, even that's not enough. This isn't just a disruption, it's a barrier to your business growth. Introducing Moving Force, your on-demand moving team. With Moving Force, say goodbye to no-shows and hello to peace of mind. With reliable, on-demand staff ensures you're never undermanned, turning your operational nightmares into a thing of the past. Moving Force, where every day is moving day and every move is smooth. Empower your business and keep growing without missing a beat. Join Moving Force today and move forward with confidence.
All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Mornings with Movers. We got myself, Dwyght Mack, with Moving Force, your on-demand moving team for every move. We got Super Move Ryan in the building, or should I say Ryan Marsh Super Move? But I don't know what their slogan is, but we're gonna say it that way. But yeah, what's been going on, Ryan?
No, man, just still out and about. Super Move Summer Road Tour. So it was all throughout Florida. Was in Alabama yesterday and getting my duties relieved. I'm in Atlanta right now, so I'm heading back home in the next couple hours. So fun tour in Florida. It was great in Alabama. It was time to get home and get back to some family again.
I hear that. It's nothing like being near family. Let me give me 1 second, trying to make sure people know that we live on the Facebook. Let's see. All right, perfect. So, all right, sweet. All right, y'all. So, yeah, like Ryan said, it's not like being near family, at the end of the day, but we still got to do our travel due diligence. So for y'all, don't forget that next month is the Tight Ends Retreat, I think September 10th through 12th. So it's going to be probably a big outcome. They got some really amazing guest speakers there. So, and then, oh yeah, Super Move is definitely presenting out there. So don't forget, y'all. Uh, so I may not be there, but don't mean I ain't got my ears to the ground, know what's going on, y'all. So, so yeah, definitely if y'all can get out there, y'all can make it somehow fit within your profit margins. Get out there, get the gems, because when you come back, it's all about implementing the gems. It's not necessarily going out there for too much fun, even though you should have fun, but at the same token, you want to be able to digest the information, see how the information can work for your business, because everybody's at different levels. When I first got in the industry, there was people that were, had been in the industry for 85 plus years. They were grandfathered in. So where their company was versus where my company was, there was no way that I can implement their systems into where I was to get where they are, because it took them so long with trial and error. And again, whatever they go through is going to be a different market, unless I'm specifically right next door to them. It's going to be a different market. So what works for them may not exactly work for me. But you're hearing it from a diverse group of people in the industry. So again, you absorb what makes sense, you write it down, you go back and you implement one thing at a time. Hey, we're going to focus on operations. So we got some really helpful tips in operations. Let's get that implemented. Sales, we got some amazing insight on sales. Okay, we'll focus on that next month, or however, whenever we choose to implement that. And you just break it down in steps. You implement a piece of it and watch your business flourish because of you implementing it. Or it didn't work. Let's go back to the drawing board. What's your take, Ryan?
No, I'm with you, man. It's, in any conference that you go to, right? There's always gems and always nuggets being dropped. But my whole thing is, it's what do you do with that information? Are you taking it back? Because it's very easy to get pumped up, and I've been there. You leave a conference and you're so pumped up, and you're like, man, business is going to the next level. And then you roll into the office on Monday and you lose the luster. You don't have that same energy. And it's like, man, okay, this is actually going to take work. So I agree what you say, man. You got to execute, you got to implement. I mean, that's key. You can go to the best damn conference in the world, but if you can't come back, you can't execute on the nuggets that you've learned, you're going to be right back to where you started, and you just wasted money going to an event. So
Exactly. So again, it's not a vacation. It's definitely a learning um conference. So, and just keep your ears to the ground. Like, again, you're gonna hear people just talking in the wind about, oh, yo, I got my moving company. I think I should do this, da da da. And you're like, oh, really? Okay. And it's not like you're, like stealing their magical gems, but you're hearing it and you're like, that sounds like it could work. I was kind of struggling in that area and I just didn't know how to get over that hump. But I like that idea. And maybe, hey, you go over there and you network with them and pick their brains, whatever the case is. But don't just sit with the same comfortable group that you go with or you meet on the first day and you're there with them until the third day. Move around, meet other people, and that's how, again, you're going to get the most out of these conferences.
yeah, I think whether you're a vendor at a conference like myself, or you're an actual moving company owner or moving company representative, you got to have a game plan going into these conferences. Because if you're just going to just kind of show up, whether it's a vendor or a mover, it's going to be tough to get some good ROI on that event. I mean, I tell you, that's one thing that I think we do really, really well over here at Supermove is we plan the events out to a T. We know who we're going to talk to. We know who we're looking to talk to. We know what conversations we're looking to have. But we also have a lot of fun too. Like, don't get me wrong, we have a blast at conferences. But before we have the fun, we make sure that we check all the boxes on the things that we needed to get done that particular day of the conference. So,
Take care.
When your team isn't trained, mistakes happen. Jobs go wrong. Customers complain. And your business? It suffers. At Max Moving Training, we help moving companies like yours build strong, reliable teams from the inside out. From mover and driver training to sales, operations, marketing, and leadership, we give your people the skills to succeed. When everyone is trained, everything runs smoother and your business grows stronger. Training isn't optional. It's essential. Stop guessing. Start training. Join Max Moving Training today.
things that we needed to get done that particular day of the conference. So,
Yeah, no. See, that's that strategic stuff, But but yeah, so today we're gonna because we know that the busy season is coming to an end very, very soon. So we just want to make sure that we address some tips where you guys can make sure that again you're staying claims free the rest of the way. Or even implement this going into the next quarter as well, because honestly, there's some claims that happen in the winter months that we don't need to happen. So, these are 10 tips that you guys can use to be implementing to make sure that you keep the claims down going into the off season. So, one, make sure you're always doing your pre-move walkthrough, set the stage for success. Always do a visual walkthrough before loading a single item. Flag fragile or pre-damaged items and make note of them. So take pictures of everything. If you got live switch, which I'm a big advocate of, make sure you're taking videos. So that basically and the customer know that, hey, this item was actually damaged. Because too many times they'll say, oh yeah, I knew that piece was damaged, don't worry about it. And then they is an item that they make a claim about. Now, the reason why it works in their favor is because you, the admin team, likely aren't on the job. So they told the movers, oh, don't worry about it. I know that piece was damaged or whatever the case is. And the mover said, okay, well, they knew it was damaged. And now they done moved 50 other pieces. And now that customer wants to claim that piece that they knew was damaged for the move. And they complaining to the admin, not the movers. They complaining to the admin. So the admin's like, oh, really? Okay. We'll start doing our due diligence to make sure that we can make this right. And now you're probably 1 to 2 days in, and you're like, hey guys, so there was a piece that got damaged. It was this piece here. And the guys may remember, but now it's hearsay. So just make sure that again you share the understanding with the customer up front helps reduce disputes later. So just make sure you guys are definitely making sure that you guys are the communication is there. You take pictures, you send it back to the office for your record purposes, regardless of what they say. Ryan, anything on that part?
No, man, I'm with you. Just transparency on a claim. Hopefully that salesperson walked through that customer with their options, whether it be the valuation coverage that they offer or the basic liability. But hey, every time that there's a potential claim, that's another potential way to get another 5-star review. All about how you handle that.
Mm-hmm. All right, step number 2, pack like pros. Provide your team with quality packing material and teach them how to use them. Reinforce the importance of padding, wrapping, and securing items to withstand bumps and vibration during transit. So again, another big advocate of making sure that you have in-house training where you pull your guys in for literally packing training. Get some boxes that maybe you have around your warehouse or whatever the case is, some wrapping paper, some bubble wrap, whatever the case is. Even though it's money kind of being wasted at the time, it's money being invested at the same time because you're making sure that these guys know what materials to use, when to use it, how to use it, and it's when the pressure isn't on. It's you're doing it in-house. You're doing it, you're setting the time aside to focus directly on making sure that they understand, and you're checking off the list. Okay, well, he kind of used a lot of paper in this box. Okay, well, he didn't really wrap the plates the way our structure and our standards are for wrapping plates. Okay, well, hey, we're gonna go over this. We're gonna reinforce this. We're gonna revisit this and probably another, maybe 3 months or whatever the case is to make sure that he's not falling into bad habits, or she, whoever you want to call it, and just make sure that your team is packing good because again, this could be a nightmare. Anything, Ryan?
And pack it right, pack it tight.
All right, number 3, train for technique. Accidents happen when movers are rushed or undertrained. Ensure your crews know safe lifting, loading, and furniture handling methods. A single mistake on a staircase or truck ramp can cost thousands. We've all been in a situation in some way, shape, or form where 2 guys working together likely aren't, comfortable working together, so their lifting techniques are all off. Like on a 2-man carry, I probably was going downstairs and you could feel like on your right side there was so much pressure, but on your left side was so little pressure, and it was due to the other mover and his strength or the way he's comfortable carrying the piece on his side. And you're just like, hey, I need you to adjust. I need you to adjust because, hey, that's just one piece. We got so many more pieces. But now if my right arm is fatigued because we don't have a proper communication on how to carry it down the stairs, obviously now that's not going to be good for me in the long run. And now it's going to be more work for them. Or, hey, you know what? Maybe the piece slips out of the other guy's hand and now it falls or whatever the case is. And you're kind of like, oh, man. We could have prevented that if you would have just had both your hands on the bottom of the piece versus one on the top corner and one on the other side. So again, all about communication, all about proper training. Just make sure that again, everybody's in cahoots. Have that in-house training where bring your truck into the if your truck can fit into your warehouse, bring your truck into the warehouse. Let the guys carry it up the ramp inside the warehouse under no pressure and see how they're carrying it. Jot down notes and make sure that they are properly trained. This goes a long way. So Ryan ain't saying that. So he I think he's saying that this is self-explanatory.
I think the big thing is like,
Take care.
Are you in search of a side gig? Get ready to land the ultimate side hustle. Don't let this opportunity slip away. Join Moving Force as a mobile mover. Enjoy the freedom to set your own hours, earn excellent income, and be your own boss. Apply now! Download the app for free, available on the App Store. It's time to make a move, both figuratively and literally.
Self-explanatory.
I think you hear everybody in the industry talk about this training, training, training. Like, I guess let's go deeper into that. When is the appropriate time to be doing this training? Are moving companies doing it weekly? Are they doing it bi-weekly? Are they doing it quarterly? Is it based on when they're hiring? Like, what does it look like? When are they doing it? How are they staying on top of it? And who's making sure it gets done?
Yeah. And I think the perfect answer to that is I would recommend quarterly. We start them off with orientation training, which hey guys, you could use Max Moving Training. We start them off with orientation training, put them through some modules, put them through, hey, this is the awareness part of the training. You're gonna watch the videos, you're gonna get a feel for it. And then quarter one, it could be that same quarter, quarter one. You guys are gonna be doing moving training again, some aspects of loading training, and maybe one portion of the packing training. Now, ideally, these will be hands-on training now. You already watched the video training, so I'm not going to put you through the video training again, but we're going to change it up a little bit where now we're going to do a little hands-on stuff. So let's bring we got some mock furniture in the warehouse. We're going to wrap these furniture pieces. We're going to set up the resident protection. We're going to pack a couple of boxes. And we're going to do this stuff so that you get a feel for it now. And then quarter two, hey, we'll do some other training. And we had a whole training schedule lined up for our guys that, for movers, it was for maybe like 2 to 3 years of a mover curriculum. Every quarter they had, maybe 3, 4 trainings they need to go through. And then if they moved up to like the driver position, that they were grandfathered into whatever training that the driver might have to take that was likely some sort of repeat of the mover. They were grandfathered into that training, didn't have to repeat that training, but now they had to take the next level training. And on and on. Sales reps had their training that they had to do, regardless if they was just on the phones or not. They had their own training they had to do. They were being monitored weekly on their sales calls. Like, okay, well, hey, you didn't really hit your weekly goal in bookings last week. Let's listen to a few of your phone calls. Okay, what could you have done a little better? Okay. And then they may say, oh, well, now listening to it, I probably could have went this way with it, da 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 da. Okay. Well, here's some suggestions. And now you're critiquing them so that basically, again, they look to implement that stuff. Don't wait too long with sales because obviously sales is something you don't want to be wasting dollars on dropping leads because you wanted to wait 3 months to address the issue or 1 month to address the issue. Um, and then your sales manager, hey, are you doing your job? Are you making sure the reports are accurate? Are you making sure that the sales reps are doing their job or whatever the case is? And on and on. Operations, yourself, the more aware you are, the more you can teach them. So again, if you guys need an outline, Max Moving Training has all of this lined up from leadership training to operations training to marketing training to you name it. And we're always creating more and more content so you guys don't ever get stale with the same old boring content. So just reach out to me. But yeah, I hope that kind of answered that long-winded question, Ryan, about when people should do their training.
One of the things, the industry over the years has evolved. I feel like every year it evolves a little bit more and more. Do you think that the training in moving has also evolved? I mean, obviously, packing boxes is going to be pretty much packing boxes. Wrapping furniture, yes, between the tape and the bands, there's been some involvement there. But where do you see the most impact for training? Is it like, for example, some of these fridges now, like, right? We know how to handle a refrigerator, but how do we handle a refrigerator that's got a freaking TV in it now? Right? With all these electronics being built, couches that have like 15 different chargers and everything moves. Like, so is it training on the technology that's been added into furniture in the average everyday household, or what is this new training looking like?
Yeah, no, that is a great question because no, that is a great question. And I think that most of the technique probably won't change. I think again, it just comes down to how fragile that piece is now. Are we comfortable wrapping fragile pieces? Do we put like a cardboard over necessarily over the TV inside the fridge? And then we start wrapping it the way we need to wrap it. So I think the technique is always going to be there. It's just how we go about handling that piece specifically. Um, and then take care.
All right, guys, my name is Brandon. I'm with Max Move Management, and here's 11 steps on how to have a perfect move. The first one, the office should call, or your dispatcher should call the customer 2 days prior to arrival. The reason for this is just in case the customer has a closing on the house, maybe they weren't able to secure, a babysitter for the child or a pet sitter. You definitely want to call 2 days in advance. This helps the customer be prepared, and you make sure that you as well know that you're going to a customer that's also prepared. 2, the crew should also call the customer prior to arrival to the home. After the guys have already geared up, you got all your equipment in your truck, you got your address punched into your GPS, go ahead and either the driver or the helper, give the customer a call or a quick text, let them know that you're en route to your location, and provide them with the ETA. This also sets the expectation for the customer to be back home just in case they would have dropped their kids off to school. For the third one, look to keep the customer happy, break the ice in the beginning. So pretty much this means when you walk up to the house, knock on the door with your best mannerism that your mother taught you, or father, you knock on the door, introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Brandon, I'm the foreman, this is my helper, and you introduce the team that you have with you. 4, make
Um, and then okay, y'all. So number 4, communicate clearly. Confusion creates claims. Keep customers informed about arrival windows, what to expect during the move, and any limitations on what you can handle. Better communication equals fewer surprises. It's as simple as it says. Communicate clearly, because basically, if let's say prime example, you guys say that you're going to be there between 9 and 10, and the guys get there at 10:05. One, the customer's already feeling some kind of way. So now, if one thing goes wrong, that's already something that could probably be a claim. But if you guys exceed their expectation, oh, we'll be there between 9 and 10, and maybe you get there at 9 o'clock on the dot, 9:05. They may be like, okay, oh wow, you guys are here early. Maybe they had plans that day, so they're super excited that you guys are there on time. And then now maybe something goes wrong in the middle of the move, but because of how clean and how everything has been moving so far, they'd be like, oh, all right, don't worry about this. Now that's not going to happen in every situation, but it's likely to happen a lot more because you're already setting a positive precedence for that customer.
This was simple for me. With the technology that's available to all the companies out there and every industry out there, there's no excuse to not be able to communicate with the customer. There's no excuse to not have, we don't need to give the, what's the like the internet guy or the TV cable window. Oh, hey, we'll be there between 8 and noon. Like, we don't need to do that anymore with the technology that we have. And even if you're someone that doesn't like to communicate because it's weird to you or what have you, again, that's where leveraging just about every software in this industry has automations that can handle those communications with you, for you, so you never miss a stinking beat. But man, leverage the technology. There's no excuse not to communicate or have your vehicle tracked at this point, where the customer can get live tracking to know right where that truck is at all given times. I mean, we know where our packages are. I can order something from China and I can damn near pinpoint where that thing is. Yeah, I can move, 6 blocks over and I have no idea where my moving truck is. It's 2025. So leverage technology for that one.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And I've also I've had the pleasure of traveling to a couple of moving companies this past week myself, and to see that probably some of them still aren't using the CRMs properly or the way they should be used is crazy. They're taking calls and they're just, writing stuff down on paper, and I'm just like, oh, oh.
You have no idea, and I can't even say. I've seen some pretty wild and crazy things on this summer road tour. I've seen people leveraging technology to the absolute fullest, and I've seen stacks and stacks and stacks of paperwork to the point where you're literally tripping over it in an office. It's mind-blowing how two companies can operate in two totally different ways. But at the end of the day, both execute in both, upper 4 stars, hundreds and hundreds of reviews, right? So it's just crazy to see two different paths to success.
Mm-hmm. All right. So number 5, customers who understand their insurance options are more confident, less likely to escalate minor damage claims. Walk them through coverage at booking and again on moving day. Again, understand that we are a lot of us offer valuation, not insurance, because we're not an insurance broker. So if you're offering valuation, understand how valuation works. There's again so many companies out there that don't understand how it works, so they don't offer it. They may tell the customer, "Oh yeah, you're covered 60 cents per pound," but they don't really know what that means, and it's mind-boggling. But it's one of those things where if you understand what it means, it's easier to explain to your customers and it's easier to hold them to it. So again, in New York, we had 3 options. So we went through all 3 options on a separate call, not the same sales call. On a separate call, we went through the 3 options and we made sure the customer knew their options and which option they wanted to go with. And the customers would be like, okay, well, my stuff is not really worth that much. I'll do option number 1. Okay. So when the guys arrive on that day, again, one of the first things they're going to do is have you sign option number 1 for valuation before they even move a piece. And then and that's probably going to be after the walkthrough though. And then they'll get started. But I'm not going to have them sign valuation at the end of the move now where it's like, oh, well, how you guys plan on fixing this? Well, let me have you sign here. No, no, be transparent up front. Let them know again, hey, this is reinforcing what you agreed to. And in most cases, you can hold them to it. But if you feel like your guys could have avoided some issues, maybe you go a little up and beyond to make sure that customer is satisfied. But if they're fully transparent, if your guys are fully transparent on what valuation options that customer chose and that customer is fully in understanding, it will alleviate a lot of issues.
That's spot on. Just breaking it down, communicating with the customer what valuation coverage is and what it does and what it doesn't do. And I think that's where I always love selling valuation coverage. It was additional stream of revenue for the team. But also truly in the event that you did have an issue, customer full valuation coverage, it gave me the autonomy to do so much more for that customer and create a very, very happy situation. But, what always worked really, really well for our team was when we're explaining to the customer about valuation, whether it was the in-home survey or we're doing a virtual, like stopping midway through that virtual survey, obviously, as we're explaining the process and pointing out that dresser and the difference of valuation coverage and not how much money that customer would get. And I do that on like 3-4 pieces in the home. So really put into perspective, hey, what valuation can do and what are the disadvantages of not having that. But again, as long as you communicate it through to that customer, no issue.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got one more before we had to cut out, but we'll give you the resource where you can find us at. Number 6, build a solid inventory list. Have both the customer and crew sign off on a detailed inventory, especially for long distance or multi-day jobs. This protects everyone and makes it easier to resolve issues if they arise. So on local, you probably won't do a inventory list. You're probably just going off the inventory list that your salespeople have done based on doing a virtual or visual of that home or whatever the case is. You just kind of want to make sure that your movers, when they get in there, that it's very close to what the office have informed them about. Because hey, maybe that customer, when they did the video part of the inventory, the customer didn't go in one of the closets or didn't open the door to one of the rooms because they said, oh, well, that room is, for whatever reason wasn't available at the time. Now you get there and you're doing a local, and that room is atrocious. It has so much stuff in it that obviously one truck may not be able to get everything in it now because that one room wasn't explored. So just make sure that, hey, before you even get started, this is your walkthrough. Make sure that you call the office and let the office know, hey, we may need a change order. This job may be going over or will likely go over. And then maybe get the office on the phone with the customer and let them know, hey, this is your options. We could either stay within the estimate that we gave you, but we won't be able to move everything, or we're going to have to slightly change it. And, we'll do the best we can to project how much more time this is going to take.
I personally, I lived and died by doing a survey inventory on every single job, local, inter, didn't matter what it was. I used it for selling purposes. It also kept basically held the customer accountable. It held our team accountable. And anytime there was an issue over price or time or what have you, I always told the customer, hey, let's pull the inventory back up. Let's make sure that everything you walked me and showed me is the same thing a company ABC showed me. And again, knowing my competition in my area, my competition rarely did any surveys. It was, oh, you got 7 rooms. Oh, it's going to be 8 hours. That's the type of, and again, they were accurate, right? But like in a customer's mind, like I've got a very detailed inventory of what's coming out of each room, what's staying behind, what's being donated. With the other company, just basically put on paper 8 hours, 3 guys.
Yeah, and that's not surprising by any means.
No,
Um,
I felt like we were, we held ourselves to a different standard. And yes, it took a little bit longer, each particular estimate, we'll say, or move to do, but we just stood out so much more professionally than the other competitors in the area. So it was
Definitely.
little things.
It is definitely little things. But all right, y'all. So again, if y'all want to find the rest of that article, you can find it on maxmovementtraining.com website in the blogs. Um, and it is called da 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 Reducing Claims During the Busy Moving Season, 10 Proven Tips. So definitely you can find that on maxmovementtraining.com. But we are at the top of the time. So y'all keep crushing it out there. Be safe. Implement what y'all need to implement going into the rest of the third quarter and the fourth quarter. It's going to slow down due to the holiday season. So diversify, diversify, diversify. Uh, Anything, Ryan, before we head out?
No, man, I'm just excited to be going home here.
All
Wheels up,
right,
just
y'all.
I got
We'll
to get
see,
packing here.
we'll see y'all soon. Y'all take care.